Hi, welcome to Inkwell Games and welcome to Stars. In this video, I'm going to give you a brief tutorial of how I walk through a Stars puzzle. So as you learned in the rules, in Stars, there must be 2 stars placed in every column, every row, and every yellow bordered region. It's a game of pure logic, so you should never have to guess. You should always be able to deduce exactly where stars go. Monday's puzzles are the easiest, and they get harder over the course of the week, so I'm going to walk you through an example of today's Monday puzzle. Feel free to open a new tab or window and solve alongside me if that's helpful to you. So when I start, I typically look for small regions. In this board, there aren't a lot of small regions, but I do notice one in the lower right-hand corner. In this region, I know some interesting facts about it. In order for the region to contain 2 stars, I know that I couldn't put a star here. If I did, there'd be nowhere else for another star to go because it would touch that cell. So that gives me enough information to at least X out this cell. We can't have a star there. As I continue to look in this region, I notice I can use the same logic in this cell. If there was a star here, there would be no place for a second star to go. Therefore, that means this cell can't have a star and must have an X. Great. Now that only leaves me with 2 cells in this region, which means I must need to place a star here and here in order to have 2 stars in that region. Whenever I place a star, I cross out every cell that touches that star because it couldn't contain a star. And then I look to see, is that the last cell in the column? Not for either of these, or in the row. Yes, this makes 2 stars in this row, meaning that there can be no other stars in this row. Great. When I did that, I noticed that this region suddenly went from a big region with a lot of options to that same shape that I saw before, where I sort of have 4 cells, and these 2 cells both touch all the stars, all the other cells in that region. So again, this cell can't be a star because it would touch these 3. This cell can't be a star because it would touch these 2, meaning that these 2 both have to be stars. Now that I've placed stars again, I'll X out every cell that touches those stars. Look to see, are there any other options in that row? It still needs 1 more star, but I don't know whether it should go there or there. Or this row, no more information. But this column now has 2 stars, so I can cancel out everything in this column. That gives me some interesting information again in this region. What was a big region with, 8, 9 options or more, now is a much smaller region of 4 cells in that same shape. That means I can, like before, I can't put a star here because if I did, it would touch all of these and not leave room for another star. Therefore, this one must be an X, and this one by that same logic. That leaves only 2 spots left in this region for stars, here and here. I'll do the same thing. I'll X out everywhere that touches those stars. Wow, that column is full. That's great news. And then let's look. That row, no more information there. No more information here. So now I'm looking at this region, which again just got much smaller and now has that same shape that we've seen before. We can now start to move a little faster as we recognize these shapes and their patterns. In this shape, I know that these 2 cells in the middle of that shape can't be stars, meaning I have to put a star here and here. Again, everything around this one is already X'd, but I'll X out these 2 options. I'll look and see that that fills out that row, therefore there's no star there. And this one fills out this row, so I'll cancel that out and then X out these as well. Look what we have again. We have another one of that same shape. No star here, no star here. Therefore, star here, cross out everything that they touch. Check out their column, full. Check out their row, full, full. Cool. So now I'm going to take a second and see, are those shapes anywhere else? Do I see any more of those shapes? And I don't. I'm a little stumped, so I might choose to use my hint button to get a little help and learn what I'm doing. Oh, of course. Rather than looking at regions, I can actually start to look at the column. This column is all full, except for these 2 spots, and it needs 2 stars. Therefore, you must put a star here and here. Again, cross out everything it touches. Whoops. That gives us some great new information. Let's see. Now let's look at this column. It's almost full, yet it still needs 2 stars. We'll put a star here and here. Everything they've touched is crossed out, and there's still some options for that row and this row. So I don't know yet where that other star is going to go. But I'm going to look at this region. This region is this weird amorphous region, but it only has 2 options left, and we need 2 stars. Here we go again. And here, no star here. That filled out this column too, so let's X this out, X this out. Wow, we're making a lot of progress. We're down to almost our final options. I'm not sure if here whether it goes here or here, but if I look at this column, I see that I need 1 more star and there's only 1 option. Put the star here. That's the second star in that row. Cross that one out. And let's put our final star. Congratulations! We just solved today's stars puzzle. If you want, you can share your win, brag with your friends, or if you want to get a daily reminder every time we have a new puzzle available, you put your email address. Thanks so much and happy solving!